Let's take a trip around the curve. Pierce Brosnan and Amir El Masri joined the boxing drama giant from AGC Studios. Cannes Critics Week's championing work by emerging filmmakers has unveiled the lineup for its 63rd edition running from May 15th to the 23rd. The Lion King's 30th anniversary, a live-to-film concert event, is taking place at the Hollywood Bowl May 24th and 25th. ESPN Films greenlights 30 for 30 documentary on trailblazing broadcaster Stuart Scott. Don Johnson joins Joshua Jackson in the Ryan Murphy drama series Dr. Odyssey for ABC. The Rookie has been renewed for season 7 by ABC, and CBS orders The Gates to series, a daytime sudsher that centers on a black family, to debut in January 2025. Best-selling author Robin Cook partners with a Eurogang on Bellevue film medical procedural. IATSE has cautious optimism about general negotiations with studios as union aims to finalize craft-specific issues this week. Keanu Reeves joins Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as Shadow. Paramount releases the video game 3 on December 20th. Marvel makes a small round of layoffs with 15 employees, and those let go include junior employees in production and development. Sony moves the Blake Lively drama It Ends With Us to August. Justin Baldoni directs and stars in the romance based on Colleen Hoover's novel. Director Park Chan-wook reveals Robert Downey Jr.'s multiple roles in The Sympathizer represent America as a whole. Jurassic World. Jonathan Bailey is circling the lead role in the new movie from Universal and Amblin. The Dutch royal drama Maxima is renewed for season 2, and Donna Langley is to receive the Caring Women in Motion Award at the Cannes Film Festival. Netflix and MVP announced Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano to stream exclusively on the streamer on July 20th. Kit Connor and Rachel Zegler are headed to Broadway, and Sam Gold directed Romeo and Juliet. Beatles' 1970 Let It Be doc will stream on Disney Plus after decades in hiding. Tyler Perry re-ups his deal with BET Media and gets new seasons for 11 series, including Sisters and The Oval. Emily Van Camp is to lead the Canadian TV drama about former sex worker turned litigator, and Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson are set to star in the Apple TV Plus series Down Cemetery Road, based on the book from Slow Horses scribe Mick Herron. TV lit agent Matthew Doyle joins Kaplan Perone Entertainment as a manager, and Pamela Anderson joins Liam Neeson in Paramount's new Naked Gun movie. Carla Gugino is in talks to star in the dramedy Night Electricity, and Philippa Sue joins Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson in Ryan Murphy's drama series Dr. Odyssey for ABC. Warner Brothers Pictures Animation is to adapt Animal Planet series Meerkat Manor for the big screen. Victoria Mahoney is set to direct the NASCAR rom-com Clean Air for Amazon MGM Studios. And TCM's acclaimed podcast The Plot Thickens returns for season 5, focusing on John Ford. Sesame Workshop writers unanimously authorize a strike and will walk out on Friday if no deal is reached. Last Friday, that was. Travis Kelce is set to host Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity for Amazon. Participant, maker of films with social conscience, call it quits after 2 decades. That is very sad news for the documentary entertainment industry. Sherman Entertainment snaps up the erotic thriller Pitch from Emily Siegel, and Noah Wiley signs with Verve. Margaret Qualley exits Hulu's Amanda Knox limited series for scheduling reasons. Warner Brothers Studio Tour Hollywood and Turner Classic Movies launch a new TCM Classic Films tour that showcases the golden age of Hollywood through the 1970s. Congratulations! Stephanie Beatrice and Tim Meadows join the animated feature film Harry and the Mutant Mid-Century Furniture, and Ariana Greenblatt joins Now You Can See Me 3 for Lionsgate. Superman finds Jonathan Kent in Pruitt Taylor Vince. Writer-director James Gunn's DC revamp is currently in production. Simu Liu signs with M88, and David Diggs and Katie Aselton wrap work on the secret Duplass Brothers production Magic Hour. Rye Lane star David Johnson is penning his debut drama series, Hype. Meryl Streep is to present the award to Nicole Kidman at the AFI Life Achievement Gala special tribute to premiere on TNT June 17th. John M. Chu is set to direct Crazy Rich Asians for the Broadway stage as a musical. Can't wait for that one. Studio Ghibli is to be feted with the Honorary Palme d'Or at the 77th Annual Cannes Film Festival. Lily Rabb, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are among those joining Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell in Sony's A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders docuseries lands at Netflix and follows the squad through the 2023-24 season. Apple TV Plus sets a July 10th global premiere for Sunny, the new mystery thriller with a darkly comic bent, starring and executive produced by Rashida Jones. Johnny Depp's Into Exec Talks Jean Barry has a UK release. Kate Blanchett's Dirty Films acquires film rights to the hit stage adaptation of Picture of Dorian Gray, whose current star Sarah Snook just won the Olivier Award. Independent Spirit Awards has set a February 2025 date. It is the 40th celebration and it takes place on February 22nd. Blumhouse and Universal's Wolfman adds Matilda Firth, and industry star Mahala joins Lily James in the 20th Century's Bumble and Tender movie. Filming begins next month. Masaloon Hamoud is set to direct the revenge thriller Beretta for Passage Pictures. Paramount's Aang Avatar animated pick with Dave Bautista has been pushed to early 2026, and Blumhouse and Platinum Dunes fast-paced thriller Drop sets Violet Bean and Jacob Robinson. IFC Films is set to release the critically acclaimed Sundance Darling Ghostlight in New York and Chicago on June 14th. Kunal Nayar, Eva Longoria, and Billy Porter are among the ensemble of Gurinder Chadha's musical Christmas Karma. Kevin Hart and his production company Heartbeat signed with WME, and Quiet on the Set becomes Max's most watched streaming title ever with 1.2 billion viewing minutes. Willow star Ellie Bamber joins Legendary's Animal Friends. Daytime Emmys time. Drama series and talk show hosts and nominees are set. Africa Queen's Ninja, Netflix's docuseries about the warrior queen of Angola, is tied with three daytime drama staples: CBS Bold and the Beautiful and The Young and the Restless, and Peacock's Days of Our Lives with a dozen noms each, and ABC's General Hospital is next with 11. Ryan Gosling, Lord and Miller Amazon MGM Studio space adventure project Hail Mary sets a launch for spring 2026. Formula One driver James Hunt is the subject of a feature doc from Deep Fusion Films, and Netflix boards the adaptation of Spanish director Cesc Gay's hit play 53 Domingos. BAFTA has confirmed that the 2025 BAFTA Film Awards will be held on Sunday, February 16th. This means the event will take place 2 weeks before the Oscars. Joe Manganiello is set to produce and star in the zombie thriller Mountain Man. Molly Shannon is set to headline an executive produce a comedy series in the works at HBO from Steve Carell, and Mustafa Shakir, Cam Gigandet, Andre Erickson, Leo Tipton, and Marshawn Lynch round out the With Love cast. Charlie Day, Billy Eichner, Gabby Beans, Talia Ryder, and 9 others are joining Ethan Coen's Honey Don't. And Danny Trejo is set to receive the Santa Fe Film Festival's Lifetime Achievement Award. Netflix is busy, y'all. It landed a series Calabasas from Kim Kardashian, Marlene King, and Emma Roberts after a bidding war. Next up on The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, I have interviews with the cast of The Greatest Hits, Tye Sheridan from Asphalt City, a review of Challengers, a review of Listeners with Emma Thompson, a recap of Ebertfest and the Turner Classic Movies Film Festival. Plus, I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about Orlando Bloom's documentary, Orlando Bloom to the Edge, coming up on The Curvy Film Critic right now.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka The Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I am the Curvy Critic, honey, and welcome. Let me say hello to some people that are in the chat room. Let me say hi to Sav Productions. How you doing, baby? Nice to see you. And Fan the Matter 101. So let me just get into it to see what they had to say. Fandom Matter said there's a lot of animated movies I'm looking forward to this year. Transformers 1, Garfield, Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, Moana 2, Sonic 3. Yes, child, there's a whole lot going on. And I've also been watching Bluey on Disney Plus and new episodes of The Loud House. All right, glad to hear it. Thank you and welcome. And Sad Productions, you had me cracking up. You like a Bumble Tender movie? Yeah, so we saw a movie that took place about something that happened on Twitter a while ago. Why should we be surprised about anything happening on Bumble and Tinder? I'm just saying. You wonder what genre it's going to be? You know, it's probably going to be a drama. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a drama. But you guys, if this is your first time joining me, give me a big thumbs up to let me know that you were here. Click the bell for notifications if you are on YouTube. If you are watching this via LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, welcome. Hey, y'all. Hey. And tune into your girl. Subscribe to the channel because you never know what I'm going to be talking about or what I'm going to be doing. I am fresh off the plane and getting ready to hop up out of here to finish up the Turner Classic Film Festival, which I talked about last week, is taking place in Hollywood. It has been great. The opening night film was Pulp Fiction. I got a chance to talk to Samuel L. Jackson on the carpet there, and one of my favorites, Mario Cantone. I always love the setup that they have there for that festival. And then before the festival started, they took us on a tour, which is one of the pictures you saw a little while ago. They've taken, Warner Brothers has acquired Turner Classic Movies, right? So they partnered together, and they are now doing, instead of it just being a tour of the Warner Brothers lot, it's now going to be a tour of the Warner Brothers lot and Turner Classic Films, with things happening all the way back from the golden age of Hollywood up through the 70s. And that includes their DC, up through the current year, rather, I should say. And that includes all of the DC stuff that is under the Warner Brothers umbrella as well. These are just a few photos that I took on the tour. So these costumes right here are from My Fair Lady. Look how well preserved they are. They were absolutely stunning. And then, of course, I ran over to the opening night because you know how I do. And I sat down with Jacqueline Stewart, one of the five main hosts at Turner Classic Movies. She has a show that comes on tonight called Silent Sundays. That is her cousin sitting next to her. I'm to the left of her cousin. That is Adrienne Norman, the wife of Floyd Norman, to the left of me. And to the right of Jacqueline is Mario Van Peebles and his lovely daughter, who were all in attendance at the opening night shenanigans. All right. So let me just get into it and tell you, let me come on camera and tell you more about Turner Classic uh, Film Festival, because I really, really, it's one of my favorite things to attend because I love classic film. I really, really do. John Travolta hit the carpet for Pulp Fiction. Uma Thurman hit the carpet. I didn't get a chance to talk to Uma, but I did talk to John, and I did like a group thing with John. And then I did speak to Samuel L. Jackson for like a split second. And then the very next day, Jacqueline Stewart did a one-on-one conversation with Billy D. Williams right before they screened Lady Sings the Blues, and they screened Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars today for the closing night film. I told you guys about the tour and how all of that is going out. And part of the tour, they have souvenirs with TCM now, and not just Warner Brothers and Friends and all of that. And you'll love it. So the TCM portion of the tour is about 90 minutes. Combined with the Warner Brothers portion of the tour, it makes that tour about 3 to 4 hours. And there's a lot of walking. So if you come to Los Angeles and you decide you want to do that, get your walking shoes on, because the amount of time that you spend in that tram is very finite. And let me just say, I was kind of surprised. You know, you guys, I'm an actress as well. I was surprised at how many times I'd worked on the Warner Brothers lot and how many shows I'd done there. I shot the Bernie Mac show there. I shot Living Biblically there. I shot Heart of Dixie there for 3, maybe 4 years. Some of the scenes were shot in the jungle, the part that they call the jungle. And if you go on a tour, you'll see exactly what I mean. And the other parts of the show were shot in the gazebo, which Girls was shot there. I think they shot Back to the Future in that little gazebo part. There's a lot of history at Warner Brothers, and I was surprised at just how much I actually knew. All right, so now let me get into Ebertfest. So I left opening night of the Turner Classic Film Festival, and I went to Champaign, Illinois for Ebertfest. That is the Virginia theater where they screen all of the films. And Ebertfest celebrates films that have already been out and released. Every once in a while, they will have a new film that hasn't been released yet and do a world premiere. And I'm going to talk about the one that they did a world premiere of. But I was asked to come there and moderate two discussions of two films that were playing at the festival. And in addition to Turner Classic Movies celebrating 15 years with their festival and 30 years with the channel on TV, Ebertfest is celebrating 25 years of the Roger Ebert Festival. And I was so proud because there's my little laminate that says critic on it. If any of you know anything about me, you know I used to watch Siskel and Ebert every week. And to just have my name on a laminate with his image saying critic, it means everything to me. Lisa Cortez was in attendance because they screened her film, Little Richard, I Am Everything, and we go way back. I moderated a discussion of her film a while ago. Her and Roger Ross Williams did a documentary about the Apollo, and I had the opportunity to talk to them about that. I did moderate this discussion for Albany Road. It's a Christine Swanson film, and it is produced in tandem with her husband, Michael Swanson. Christine is on your left, Michael is on your right. Starring in that film are Renee Elise Goldsberry, who's right beneath Christine. Lynn Whitfield, you guys know her from the excuse me, Josephine Baker story. Underneath her is Lisa Arundel. You guys know her from Medea's Family Reunion, in which her and Lynn starred in together. And underneath Renee's picture is Jay Alphonse. You guys know him from playing Little Murder on P Valley. In the middle picture, you see Gary Dordan, and you guys know him from a plethora of things. But I moderated a discussion with them, and after every film that they do, they give them a golden thumb. So this is Lynn, Michael, Christine, two of their cast members, and their producer all getting a golden thumb after we did our discussion about Albany Road. Albany Road does not have distribution just yet, but when it does, you will hear it here at the Kirby Film Critic first. And then I did and moderated, not did, but moderated a discussion with Malcolm Lee. If you know anything about Malcolm Lee, you know that Malcolm Lee is behind the Best Man franchise. We love them. We love Harper and Jordan and all of the characters that are in that franchise. We love to love them. We love to hate some of them, like Shelby and Quentin. But they showed the Best Man in the screening, and then afterwards, his lovely wife and I, and Christine and Sonia Evans, who is Chaz Ebert's daughter, we snapped that photo right after after I had moderated the discussion with them. And this is a short little picture of Malcolm as he was speaking. Now, something that Malcolm told the audience at Ebertfest, which I thought was hilarious, was when he was writing The Best Man, it wasn't always going to be called The Best Man. It was going to be called My Homeboy's Wedding, which I thought was hilarious. Could you imagine if that movie at the time had come out called My Homeboy's Wedding? It would have been a completely different thing. But it was nice to see African Americans at Ebertfest. The last time I went was in 2019, and there were some African American people there, but they were very few. But there was nice to see that this huge audience of people that don't look like us in Champaign, Illinois, enjoyed Albany Road and Malcolm's film, The Best Man, the same way that we would enjoy it. That was really wonderful to see. I enjoyed that very, very much. And I love Ebertfest. It's one of my favorite things to attend. The Listener is a film that is available right now, video on demand. It stars Tessa Thompson and it's directed by Steve Buscemi. You know Steve Buscemi from a plethora of different things. I won't even go into his resume because, child, we'd be sitting here until tomorrow if I did. But, excuse me, The Listener is about this chick named Beth, played by Tessa. She's a helpline volunteer who is part of a small army that gets on the phone every night across America, fielding calls from all kinds of people feeling lonely, broken, and hopeless. Over the last year, the tide has become a tsunami as Beth goes through her shift. The stakes rise. Is this the night that she will lose someone, save someone? But eventually, Beth's own story comes to light, revealing why she does it all along. We remain with her, listening, comforting, connecting, patching the world back together, one stitch at a time. This is what I want to say about The Listener. Nobody can hold an audience on screen better than Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson is such a layered and magnificently gifted actress that it is so wonderful to see her have this moment where it's literally she is on screen 3/4 of the time by herself, and she is fielding these phone calls. As I said, the people that are doing the voices are all different types of celebrities, and you will know the names and voices of some of them when you hear them. But this is what I want to say about The Listener. she speaks with a range of troubled people in the course of this, and it's a really short film. It's like 90 minutes. She speaks with a teenage runaway. She speaks to a sideline cop. And when I say sideline cop, a cop who did something unsavory and is now um, trying to grapple with the force that he used that on somebody that he attacked in the course of an arrest that now has brain damage, and he's trying to grapple with that. I know it's deep, y'all. I know it is. um you learn more. My mother used to always tell me that you learn more from listening to somebody than running your mouth. And y'all know I love to run my mouth, but I'm not beyond listening, and this film is a perfect example of that. um Tessa's voice is very, very calm, is very soothing and comforting, that makes her perfect for this part. This film doesn't work without her, and is an impressively restrained performance from her. The nature of one person on screen is challenging for viewers. It will be challenging, but it's not any more challenging than watching Tom Hanks in Castaway. Just saying. Um, she discovers the humanity in each person that she's speaking to, and the actors who are the callers are even more challenged because we're just hearing their voices. So imagine what it must take to invoke all of this emotionality, and all we're hearing is your voice. It's very difficult, and every last one of the actors does an exemplary job. To Buscemi's credit, Beth never ever stays stagnant. Like, you are not watching her for 90 minutes sit on the phone and talk to people. She's getting up, she's moving, she's drawing, she's pacing. She's standing outside on the porch. Her drawing is really cool because she's drawing what she imagines these people to look like, or what they're going through in the course of their conversation. And she flips through it at the end. I really like that. That was a nice touch. The pacing of the film can be a bit slow in spots, but the subject matter makes up for it at a lot of times. And unhappiness is always ashamed of itself. Just think about that. Unhappiness is always ashamed of itself. And that is the theme of this film. There's a twist when we find out that Beth's brother had committed suicide, and that he tried to reach out to her and she didn't answer the phone that day. We find out that her stepfather was difficult. And we also find out that Beth is struggling from depression, as well as falling into a set pattern in regards to that. She's experiencing a bad relationship guilt over her brother, and you find out that at one point even though she's trying to stop people from committing suicide, she actually contemplated it herself. I know this sounds like a really deep movie, y'all, but it is excellent. And if you love Tessa Thompson, you are going to love this movie. Um, yeah, Zola Sav Productions was the film that was dealing with the situation on Twitter. Um, and Reggie Hollis, hey, welcome. It sounds a little bit like The Guilty, but more of a drama. Yeah, you should totally check it out. It's a really nicely done film, and I love that Steve Buscemi stepped from in front of the camera, behind the camera, to give us a little bit more of his talent, because he's major, man. I love him. He's so 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 good. Now, I'm gonna get to challenges in a minute, I promise. But a little while back, I had talked about this movie called Asphalt City, starring Tye Sheridan, Sean Penn, and Kaylee Race from the True Detective series with Jodie Foster. Just to recap, Asphalt City follows Ollie, played by Ty, and he's a young paramedic assigned to the night shift in New York City with Gene Radofsky, who's played by Sean Penn. A lot of things go on, y'all, and shenanigans ensue. And it's kind of like, if you've ever seen that Martin Scorsese film, Bringing Out the Dead, it's like Bringing Out the Dead, but it centers around people that work on ambulances, and it's major. So what I'm going to do right now is, I gave you the interview with the director and Kaylee a few weeks ago, and I don't know why I didn't show this interview with Ty. I don't know what was happening and why I did that. But let me just say good afternoon real quick to Jetty Mike. What's up, Jetty Mike? Um, and I'm going to go ahead and play this interview with Tye Sheridan, which he kind of clowned me a little bit. toward the end of the interview, but it's all good. I love him anyway. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Tye Sheridan, who stars in the video on demand film with Sean Penn, Asphalt City. Hey, Tye.
Carla, good to see you. How are you?
It's good to see you too. It's been a minute. The last time I was talking to you, you was dealing with cards and carrying on and starring opposite Tiffany Haddish. And now you're doing another intense role where you're playing a paramedic. I'm just curious to know, did you get a chance to read Shannon's book that this is based upon before you took on this role? And was that one of the things that convinced you to be a part of the project?
Of course, yeah. No, I definitely read the book, and yeah, Shannon was, it's loosely based on his life. He was a medic in the '90s in Harlem, and that's where the book takes place. Obviously, this version, the movie version of the story, is a much more contemporary telling that takes place mostly in East New York. So there are a few differences, but yeah, I think it really started there. And I actually remember back in the early days, because this project has been around since 2018. We
Right.
we went to New York with Shannon in 2018, and went back to the old station that he actually worked at in Harlem. And we were originally thinking to make the movie there and be based there. And yeah, and over the years, the film kind of evolved, and the story started to evolve, and mostly the evolution was kind of inspired by the stories that we would hear from the EMS community. As we were meeting these medics and getting closer and closer to them, and they were sharing more stories with us, that those stories inevitably kind of bled into the fabric of the movie. And a lot of the stories that they told us are in the film, and they're our stories now that our characters tell.
Wow, I was very intrigued by the film because my mother was a nurse for over
Mm.
50 years. And so I remember, some things kind of staying with her because she worked in all different facets of the
Mm-hmm.
medical industry as a registered nurse. So when
Mm.
I saw that, I thought I never once thought about how what my mother was experiencing at the hospitals could actually bleed over into her real life with us as her kids, and how she navigated and dealt with us. So that was a very interesting spin on it that my entire life, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
When I talk to you about that scene, the one, that scene with that body in that tub, I was like, bless your heart with that right there. It was super realistic and very terrifying.
Mm.
And I just want to know what it was like for you, because I know it's make believe in the world of film, but someone
You got it?
yeah, I got it. But I just feel like that was intense. Was it as intense for you to portray it as it was for us to watch it?
Well, the whole movie was very intense. We had 23 days to make the film, and that's not a lot of time, especially not in New York. New York is very unforgiving when you're making a movie like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the entire film, we were up against the clock, and we were up against New York and the chaos of the city, and which is, it's a blessing and a curse, because that chaos, inherently kind of becomes a part of the film, which I think, makes it very intense and very real. But in terms of an environment of trying to make the film it was very, it was very intense. So yeah, it was definitely one of the most challenging projects, if not the most challenging project I've ever worked on. Both from, just like, the context and the content of what we were dealing with, playing medics, but also, yeah, just the up against the clock and the chaos of New York City.
You did that though. I'm such a fan of, this. I'm such a fan of your work. I love watching
Appreciate
you in
that.
projects because you're just authentically yourself in the process of bringing these really complicated characters to the screen, and you do it with such realism and such breadth and depth that I always enjoy watching you. That's my time, Tye. I have so many other questions.
Might hire you as my agent.
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time, honey.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to see you.
I love talking to him because he kind of just rolls with the punches and he does his thing. So again, you guys, the film is called Asphalt City. It's video on demand. You can find it across any place that is streaming. Check it out. It's a very intense film. It paces a little slow, like I said when I reviewed it a few weeks back, but his performance is thebomb.com. I also talked a few weeks back about this film before I get the challenges, because I'm going to get the challenges. But I also want to talk about the interview I did with Lucy Boynton and Justin Min for this film called The Greatest Hits. Is streaming on Hulu right now. And it basically deals with, if you had the opportunity to go back in time to fix a situation that would allow you to still be in a relationship with somebody, would you do that? Would you go back? Would you time travel to save the love of your life and make sure that they stayed the love of your life? For me, I probably would. But this is what Lucy and Justin had to say. Take a look and a listen at this interview I did with them concerning The Greatest Hits.
Hi, Carla. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I was wondering if he was going to remember me, Justin. I'm like, I'm not going to say that.
Of course I do.
What's up, homie?
Hey.
It's good to see you too. Good to see you too. When I watched The Greatest Hits, I was a little bit in the ugly cry because I remembered there's so many people in my life that I wish I could just have one more moment with them, and certain songs remind me of them and make me want to go right back to where they were. For each of you, do you have a certain loved one or a friend that you feel that way about? Who is that person? What would their song be and why?
I lost my aunt when I was really, really young, and only like get to know her like retroactively through stories and stuff. And obviously the older you get, the more you understand this person and understand the context for them. And it's like, well, yeah, one of the greatest losses in my life that I don't get to grow up knowing her. I don't know what song. I suppose I would choose my mum's favorite song, which is Etta James's "I'd Rather Go Blind," because of that familial kind of connection. But yeah, that's a great question. That's gonna have me thinking all day.
It is a great question. It's also a very heartbreaking and heavy question. I'm trying to think as well. Kenny G, the saxophonist, my dad used to listen to him all the time. My dad is still with me, thank God. But I think whenever he comes on, I think of my dad kind of sitting at home, lounging on the couch, listening to him. So if my dad sadly ever passes, I know that will always take me back to him.
I love that. Those were such beautiful thought out answers. Thank you so very much. Now, Justin, your character, David, ends up having to have an insurmountable amount of trust for Harriet, dealing with the circumstances that you guys are in. Do you guys think that either one of you in real life would be able to have that much trust in a relationship? Or would you be like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I can do this with you right now. I'll start with you, Justin, this time.
It's a great question. I would say maybe, I would say right now, I would probably say, no, of course I wouldn't trust that person. But when you're in love, oh man, we do some crazy things when we're in love, and we believe some crazy
the rules
things.
That you let down.
So I think if I was really in the throngs of love and someone told me that she was time traveling, I think I would believe her.
Oh, hon.
Lucy?
No, we're gonna have a conversation after this one. I don't know that I could go
Okay, but
there
what if they did the note thing? So they proved it to you to a certain extent.
I don't know that I would trust that. I'd be like, so you planted the note ahead of this time, knowing you were going to make this whole situation up and tell me that. Yeah, I think the cynic in me would be a bit apprehensive. The romantic in me would love to say yes, but...
When I asked both of you all that, y'all were like, I don't know.
That sounds like a lot of energy.
That was hilarious. Ooh, I wish I had some more time to really get down and dirty with this subject with y'all, but alas, that is my time. Thank you so much, Lucy and Justin. the film had me feeling some kind of way, because everybody has a moment where they have to run back to the greatest hits of their life, either to reminisce or to move on. So thank you for that.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I'll see y'all next time.
See you soon.
And loving how we matching with the pink. Just saying.
Got the memo.
I'm so silly. But anyway, you guys, check out The Greatest Hits in Asphalt City and The Listener, as all three of those films are available via video on demand right now. All right, so let's get into this Challenger situation, honey. So y'all know it stars Zendaya. That's my baby. Let me just say, let me just tell you what the film is about in case you don't know. So it's directed by Luca Guadagnino. It's going to be in theaters as of April 26th. So on the weekend is when it hits. It's produced by Zendaya, Luca, Amy Pascal, and Rachel O'Connor. And the music is by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I love their stuff. And the cast, of course, is Zendaya, who's there in the middle, Josh O'Connor, who is on your right of the screen, and Mike Feist, who is on your left of the screen. Now, basically, Challengers deals with Tashi Duncan, played by Zendaya. She's a former tennis prodigy turned coach and makes no apologies for who she is. Like, she is a force of nature at best. She ends up being married to a champion on a losing streak to Mike on your left. And Mike, by the way, played Riff in West Side Story. And he's also, he played Mike. He was in West Side Story. And then Josh is his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. Are you with me so far? Okay. And Josh Patrick. The character's name is Patrick, played by Josh. Josh O'Connor was in The Crown. He played Prince Philip in The Crown. Okay, are you with me? All right, good. So as all of their past and presents collide, these tensions run high, and Tashi has to ask herself, what will it cost to win? And will she win it at all costs? And Sav says, I love Zendaya. She's such an amazing, I would watch anything with her. Okay, check this out, though. I'm going to come back on camera because y'all, when I saw Challengers, I was like, what in the actual hell is going on? It is a very, very intense film. And it's something that I have never seen Zendaya do before. It's her stepping into her womanhood full throttle. It is her being her fierce and flawless self. But it does deal with these characters who are having a moment. And so I just got to tell you, there is this one scene that happened that comes from that picture where they're sitting on the bed. That scene right there, baby, it is scorching hot. I don't even know what to tell you. That scene is scorching hot. It is so sexy and sensual and uncomfortable all at the same time. But it just goes to show, but what I loved about it is that it showed Zendaya being in control of the situation as opposed to the guys being in control of the situation. Like she was the puppet master in that situation, which I kind of loved. The music in this film by Trent and Atticus are its own character. The music kind of informs what you're about to see. And it's like, oh, you think you're going to see this, but you really going to see this. And you get that vibe strictly from the music. All of these characters, Tashi, Patrick, and her husband, all of these characters, they are in an emotional storm and a passion storm versus their insecurity and their security. So basically what happens with Tashi is Tashi was the ish, and they all wanted to be where she was in the tennis world. And tennis in general is an extremely competitive sport, right? So let's just start with there. Tennis is a completely competitive sport, and they all have their own kind of relationship just with the tennis. Then when you involve human relationships on top of the already intense relationship that they have with the match of tennis, it's a whole different thing going on. This film blew my mind all the way off. And it just shows you at what cost people will go through to win. There's some things that happen toward the end of the film I don't want to tell you because I don't want to ruin it for you, that you're going to be like, okay, I see how this is going. But the performances in this, especially from Josh O'Connor, are fire. I don't know if they had body doubles while they were playing tennis or what, but they did the daggone thing. Josh, Mike, and Zendaya absolutely crush it. Zendaya is, yeah, she's doing all the things in this film, and you guys are really going to enjoy it. Again, it hits theaters on April 26th. It's directed by Luca Guadagnino. It stars Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Faist. That is it, y'all. I have talked about everything. When I come back, let me see. I think there's one more comment. Is it because you worked with her when she was a child? Yes, of course it is. You know, because and you'll hear people say this all the time. You hear your aunts and uncles say this to you when they be like, "Hey, baby, I remember you when you." It's so hard when you know someone when they're young to see them be an adult and step into their own. You're proud that they're able to do that. You are excited that they're able to do that with confidence and with a surety. But at the same time, every time I see her or I hear her, I see the teenage girl that I worked with. But I also see a young woman who has stepped into her own, who is producing the projects that she would like to see Black women starring in. And she makes no bones about the fact that she's Black. At one point in this movie, she makes a statement about, she said, "Oh, that's what you white boys do," or something to that effect. And I hollered out loud. Zendaya is never confused about who she is or where she comes from. And I love that about her. And I love that her acting is just growing leaps and bounds, and that she's proving to the industry that there's nothing that she can't do. But this film is deep. It's very, very intense. It's gonna make people want to go out and play tennis, I tell you that much. It's everybody gonna be running out trying to get a racket and a tennis outfit after they see challenges. I'm telling you that much. I'm telling you that right now. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's hard. You know, it's hard for me to not hard for me to see her, but I feel some kind of way because in some respects, she's my television. She was and will always be my little baby that was on TV. And so I feel very protective of her. We don't always talk. I very rarely see her, but I'm very protective of her. And I'm not, as long as I'm around, you will never, she'll never have to worry about somebody saying a disparaging word about her, because I will drop kick them. Sorry, love you, mean it, but I meant that. I don't play those reindeer games when it comes to her. So yeah, that's that. I didn't do the junket for this because I had a lot of scheduling conflicts and I wasn't able to work that out. So I don't have an interview with her for this, or Josh or Mike, but I would have loved to have talked to them because it left my mind swirling in 1,000 different directions for sure, for sure. I tell you that much. But when I come back next week, I'm finally gonna really talk about Orlando Bloom, because I felt like it was more important for me to talk about challengers than Orlando Bloom, right? And then I'm gonna talk about Rebel Moon too. Everybody's talking about that, so I'm gonna come back and talk about that and a couple of other things next week. I did want to remind you guys, if you have never seen The Best Man, go see The Best Man. Go stream it online. It is the best. It's so much fun. It is a lot of fun to watch that movie. Check out The Listener. It's video on demand right now. And I highly suggest that you check it out. If you love Tessa Thompson, you're going to love it. You're really, really going to love it. And of course, check out Challengers. One last thing before I go. You guys know that I freelance write. I did a article write up for Mike Douglas in Franklin, which is on Apple TV Plus right now. It's on the variety.com website, so you can go there and see that. And of course, everything that I ever write about here can be found at this site, www.thecurvyfilmcritic.com, www thecurvyfilmcritic.com. If you are in Los Angeles, there's still a few more things that you can check out at the TCM Film Festival. Just go to filmfestival.tcm.com and you can pop over there tonight to catch those last few things that are happening over at the festival. I'm about to hop up out of here and go check out some things there myself. So thank you so much, you guys, for popping in. I just want to reiterate who was here. Thank you, Sarah Productions. Thank you, Reginald Hollis. Thank you, Jetty Mike. Thank you, Fanimator 101. Thank you all for popping in and saying hello to us, sister. I appreciate you. And I know that a lot of you, including my boy Brandon, will watch it after the fact. I ain't mad about that. You'll see it when you see it. But I thank you for popping in. I thank you for supporting me. I do not take it for granted at all. I promise you I don't. And I'll see you next week. Love, peace, and hair grease. Until the next time. Deuces.